43.
42. 41.
40.
39.
Number 1.
39.
38.
37.
36.
35.
34.
33.
32.
31.
30. 29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
21.
20.
19.
18.
17. 16.
15.
14.
13.
12.
11.
10.
9. 8.
7. 6. 5.
4.
3.5.
3.
2.
1.
Hey, Rocky, you want to see me pull a show out of my hat? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Hi, and welcome to the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty fresh take on politics. And we have a show for you tonight. We have a show. We have a guest panelist. We have Jay Hart. Jay Hart is sitting in for Tiffany. Tiffany has some other things to do tonight, and she's not here. But we're glad to have Jay step in. And he's been sort of quiet on the political scene and I sort of was able to nudge him to come out a little bit. And of course, we got Brad and Lucy coming. But before I get the show started, you see I got a cross going over here. Yeah, a cross going over here. So maybe some of you know or don't know, but I am a licensed minister for the Disciples of Christ and United Church of Christ. Been a licensed minister for, a few years. And I have done several weddings, and I've done several funerals. And when I do a wedding, sometimes I say it is like a funeral because it's the death of being single. But if some of you watched the Charlie Kirk memorial service this weekend, and some of you went to the service up in Zionsville, which the media said there's a couple hundred people there. It looked like it was over 1,000, but it's neither here nor there. So I thought I would do a little preaching tonight for you, do a little preaching on this thing. And there's one thing that, I guess I still was sort of in shock, and I either watched or listened to most of the service, and a couple of things that stick out in my mind. I wasn't real impressed with President Trump's campaign speeches. When I do a service for someone for their funeral, it is 150% about them. It is about that person that is there, that wanted me to do their eulogy and their service, and that's what it's about. So to me, I was a little bit turned off. I'm sure that there's some people that like that. There's probably people that didn't watch it. My opinion is you should have watched it. Even if you didn't like the guy, you should have watched it just to see what it was about, and then draw a conclusion. But one thing that stuck out to me, and then I want to play this. This is Erica Kirk, and I think a lot of people saw this, and this was like, this really went, whoa, when you heard her say this. But I'm going to go ahead and play this. Hold on. Sound.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
And that's one good thing about being producer here. I got to push the buttons and I got to talk. So that was sort of a shocking thing. And I want to go over that a little bit. I got some notes here and got them on the banners. And you know what? If you read the Bible, I would say you should read the Bible. It's the greatest story ever told. You may not agree with it. You may be confused. You may not understand it. And there is one verse in the Bible that sticks out to me. Those that have eyes will see, and those that have ears will hear. And that means that not everybody's going to get it. But if you are diligent and you ask people to help you understand that, and make sure you ask the right people, because there's a lot of people that'll tell you maybe not the right thing. But in Matthew 5, it talks about the Lord's Prayer. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. But in Matthew 6, it says this, for if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But there's always a but. There's sin and there's repenting. But if you do not forgive others of their sins, your Father will not forgive you of your sins. So, that's hard. That's hard to do. I mean, especially in this case where, it just speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. So you're thinking, well, why? This is one of those questions where we're believers. Why did this happen to Charlie? Why did it happen to him? He was certainly out there spreading the gospel. And one of the things that Charlie did was I call him conviction preachers. He was a convicting preacher. He would tell you what you were doing wrong. And there's a saying that I have that I can't do, because I tell people what they're wrong. I said, you're never going to change anyone's mind by telling them they're wrong. And that's what the issue with conviction preaching does. And I'm going to use an example here. This goes back a couple thousand years. This is about John the Baptist. Now, I want you to do some research on this. It goes all the way back to King David and Nathan. I think it's Nathan or Nathaniel. Terrible with names. The book of Leviticus really gets me because there's a lot of names in there. And these guys are basically David, and he's his advisor, and they are basically, John the Baptist and Jesus are cousins. 14 generations later, here they are. John the Baptist comes on the scene as the messenger. He comes on the scene. He's going to tell you the message that Jesus is coming. Get ready, prepare the way. I'm not him, prepare the way. And he's a messenger. Well, what happened to the poor guy? So, there's this guy named Herod Antipas. Now, he was Herod the Great's son. He was his son, and he was a Roman client, ruler, a tetrarch, they called him, of Galilee during the time of Jesus, known for executing John the Baptist for his criticisms of Herod's Antipas's moral marriage to Herodias. Now, Herodias was Philip's wife, and Jesus kept on him about it. He just kept convicting him about this, this sin that he was doing. And, Herod Antipas was known as the fox because he was wily. He would find out ways to do things. So, we go on. So, he just was giving him a hard time. So Herod had him in prison. He had him thrown in jail, but he didn't know what to do with it. He didn't want to wipe him out because the people loved him. He was, out in the desert, baptizing people and all that. This tetrarch, Herod, he was they worked with the Roman leaders. Now, Herod the Great, I want you to do a lot of this research yourself, but Herod was actually not originally a Jew. He converted to Judaism, to, being a Jew, and he was basically the liaison between the people and the Roman empires, or the Roman emperors. And and then Pontius Pilate was one of the Romans. So during Jesus' trial, Pontius Pilate sent Jesus to Herod of Antipas. And, he was, visiting, and he had heard of Jesus, Herod had, and he wanted him to do some miracles, and he was disappointed. But, Pilate was wanting him off his plate, and he wanted somebody else to do something with him. But, it was one of those deals where, Herod sent him back to Pilate. He said, I couldn't do anything with this. Pontius Pilate had trouble with it. His wife had a dream about not doing anything. But in the end, Jesus was crucified. But I always wondered why, John the Baptist's head got chopped off because of Herod came up with this little scheme. His granddaughter or somebody did some dancing for him. It was so good, he granted him any wish they wanted. And so that daughter of Herod, Herodias, said, hey, what do you want to wish for? Well, we want to see John the Baptist's head on a plate. And so that's what they did. They went, chopped his head off, brought it into him. That would have been a great party. That'd probably been, something else. So anyway, what I'm trying to get to is the messenger. This is a messenger. And, a messenger is someone who warns people of what's coming. So I always wondered when Jesus found out about, they weren't together. They found out about John the Baptist getting beheaded. Jesus really wasn't too awful concerned about it. And I'm always like, why would you not? This is your cousin. This is a guy that was, he'd be like your chief of staff. If you were a politician, why was he not that concerned? And I guess one thing is like, all of the other disciples, all of them met their death by being a martyr, except for John. John was left around to tell the story. So it seems like, and Paul, he was crucified upside down, supposedly. So this is part of any messenger is taken out. So to bring that back to Charlie Kirk, he's a messenger, and I think that he is warning people that, hey, the time is near. You need to repent, and you need to, get closer to God, and you need to do all that. But I still is as confused as I am why John the Baptist got his head chopped off and why Charlie Kirk was assassinated. But, he basically felt no pain from what I've seen. It was, he was doing what he was doing. And I guess we won't know till we get there. But so that's my little preaching tonight of the messenger and heed the warnings. Because you'll see the people that came after Jesus are that same Pharisees, Sadducees, people that are celebrating those type of things. Those are those same people, and stuff hasn't changed in 2,000 years. So with that, I'm going to bring on our guest. I'm going to bring on Steve Whitmer, see what he's got to say. Stevie, what's happening?
Not much. What's going on over there?
Oh, just
great sermon, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's there's just some of the questions, and I hope when I go, God has the whole afternoon off because I got a lot of questions. It's going to be a lot. Well, God is outside of time, space, and matter, so I'm sure He's going to figure it out. So it's all on Him. And I'm always reminded of the Ecclesiastes 8:16. Even the wise man who thinks he knows what's going on really cannot comprehend. So we don't know right now.
That's true.
But we will. Maybe on this show tonight, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure out the mysteries of the universe tonight.
Yeah, I wanted to have you on tonight because we haven't talked in a while, and I produce your show at 8:00, and you're out there doing the work. I don't know how you have time to do this. I don't know how you have the money for the parking. I don't know how you get all that done.
Sell a lot of drugs, a lot of coke. Smack is real good right now. It's like 90s all over again. We got the disco dust. We got that fever dream. We are so back right now. And I do a lot of betting on bum fights. So I got a good streak right now. I know where my stallion's at. We meet them on the corner of Pennsylvania and Capitol. And then I just say 15 over here. And it's like, okay, so
you're running book on yeah, that's you're doing this for the same amount of money that we're doing the Mouthwash show. But people want to hear and they want to see what's really going on. I mean, the little clippets we see on the news, and some of them, and your show's entertaining. You had me laughing tonight. I was like,
I love getting in the trenches and getting dirty and just like seeing what everybody else doesn't see, though. Like when I was reporting yesterday, when I was at the city council meeting, and I was like pointing out, it's like, hey, you know what? A lot of action going over here with the unions. You'll never hear any of that stuff happen on like WTHR or CBS4 or Mirror Indy. You'll never see them doing live tweeting, stuff like that.
No, well, maybe you're a trendsetter and you're doing that. And, before we get to him, I know you're trying to stay cool with Rob Kendall and all that. It's sort of funny to see you tippy toe on that situation because, he's promoting you. I mean, I tell you, but, he's promoted other people. You got to watch your back, brother. Watch your back.
Well, so far he's been very nice to me in promoting everything that we do.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you got a talking to that one day you're on the show. So, but he's still holding the line. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the panel on. Here we got Jay, Lucy, Brad. Let's see. We got to get the people in the right places because we don't want to have the people in the wrong places.
That's right. The king belongs in the center. All right, right here. Oh, no.
Yeah, no, you're not getting it. All
right, Lucy.
The queen.
That's
the queen is in the middle. She's in the house. Lucy, how are you doing tonight? You're
Oh,
muted.
Hey, can you hear me?
no.
Can you hear me
Yep,
now?
now you're good. Now you're good.
Actually, I'm in a bit of a tizzy because, the whole week after Charlie Kirk was publicly executed, that was worse than a murder. I was like crying on and off, very, very distraught. But I'll tell you what, I've been learning some things
Oh, wait.
after the emotion came down. We'll be talking about that later in this episode. I've learned some things that were very
Is
unsettling.
what we got going on
Wait,
here?
you let the emotion come down first? That's a big
Yeah,
thing, Lucy.
yes, it was. Well, I had to realize that what we were exhibiting, and we'll talk about this later, was a huge loosh, LOOSH, a loosh harvesting operation. And I unwittingly had put myself in that position as well. But there are some very big questions that I have. So we'll
I
leave it
want
at
your
that.
background right now, too.
That's right. Maybe if you go in the morning, you'll have the morning with God, and if I go in the afternoon, I get the afternoon. Okay, so because we got a lot of questions, I'm sure that there are. Brad, how you doing? Now, I want to say, Brad came down and played golf with us on Friday, and I'll tell you what, he's not a bad little golfer.
We use a lot of my shots.
Yeah,
we
it was a little bit of a scramble thing. We started out with a
way
bogey,
more than
but
I thought I was going to be helpful.
we had to get
I didn't golf for a while before then, so
yeah. He made a really, really good shot on a long par 3 that saved us one. So where I lost Whitty.
no. Anytime I start talking nice about myself or like leftists, he'll just run away or block me now. So.
Yeah, you've been thrown off this podcast the most of anybody.
Yeah.
You made it through the whole thing tonight, didn't you?
I was being careful. I knew he was going to be on tonight. So
yeah, he was on a roll, was he? Now I should have.
He made me laugh so hard though with the chair. I laughed out loud by myself.
I was laughing behind. He's ate up. I mean, that's all there is to it. So I'm remiss. We should have had our guest panelists come on first, and but I have no manners. What the heck? So Jay Hart, how's it going? Tell our viewers a little bit about you.
It's going well. I've kind of just been taking a little break from politics, and I still throw out a smart ass comment once in a while on social media. Had a little back and forth with Representative Jim Lucas today.
Oh, good.
Can I say douchebag on this show?
Yeah, you can, as long as it's the FCC rules. And I got Steve he's really doing well on this show. Now his show
so far,
he can do whatever. Yeah,
I know.
And
I've never been on Whitty's show. It would be perfect because
nobody goes on the show. Nobody.
I don't have the capability. That's why.
Well, we have the same. We have a lot of the same grammatical fun.
Yeah, well, let's see. I think that is anybody on here that's not hated? I don't know. I'm pretty sure we all have the same level of hatred from
anybody who questions the money is hated.
Oh yeah, there's that. So the gang's all here. I want to get to the first clip here, and let's see. I got it. I'm the guy here that's the producer and everything. I'm not like Whitty. He's got me to do all this stuff. So let's see, which one am I going to do first? I want to do the Senator. There it is right there. Okay. That one's a share. So I'm going to share it. And we may all be on this.
Walk me through at a high level, like what you and I have been working on, what the whole administration has been working on to try to make sure that we don't reward and promote this craziness.
So it's an excellent question. I said this before, and but it bears repeating. The last message that Charlie sent me was, I think it was just the day before we lost him, which is that we need to have an organized strategy to go after the left-wing organizations that are promoting violence in this country. And I will write those words onto my heart, and I will carry them out. The people ask me, what emotions I'm feeling right now. It's just something people say. I mean, you kind of know the answer. There's incredible sadness, but there's incredible anger. And the thing about anger is that unfocused anger or blind rage is not a productive emotion.
Right.
But focused anger, righteous anger, directed for a just cause is one of the most important agents of change in human history.
Charlie showed that. Amen.
And we are going to channel all of the anger that we have over the organized campaign that led to this assassination to uproot and dismantle these terrorist networks. So let me explain a little bit what that means. So
What?
Got 30 seconds. Be quick, Stephen.
the organized doxing campaigns, the organized riots, the organized street violence, the organized campaigns of dehumanization, vilification, posting people's addresses, combining that with messaging that's designed to trigger, incite violence, and the actual organized cells that carry out and facilitate the violence, it is a vast domestic terror movement. And with God as my witness, we are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name.
All right, all right. So, we've seen the doxing. I know that my alma mater, Ball State, they fired a gal for I didn't think was what that much of an issue. And you've seen
No, they didn't highlight that second paragraph where she said it was an awful tragedy and
yeah.
Said,
Well, yeah, but this has happened on both sides, and I hate the both sides whataboutism and all that. I'm going to start. Let me start with we'll start with our guest, Steve Whitmer. And so, how do I got this backwards? This is how it's supposed to be. There we go. Now we're better. Whew, I knew something was messing with my OCD there. So, Steve, what is your take on this and the violence and the escalation and what do you think about this?
I'm all for it.
You're all for it.
Yeah, I think it's time we start becoming hypocrites now. I think I saw Gavin McInnes. He made a really good point. Is you can roll out your eyes all you want, Brad. You can drink
I'm
your
gonna do it a lot.
That's fine.
You guys are all like.
I'm all for it. I'm all for getting dirty and nasty. I don't think you guys. I don't think the left
the
understands.
righteous anger that
I'm not even a
Why are
Christian.
you wanting to respond with that?
Because the left wants violence, but you guys don't
No, we
understand.
don't.
Is that
There's
the
no
right,
thing in us and
the
we.
people on the right are the kings of the jungle. You guys would all become our slaves if we really wanted it to be that way.
All right,
we would all buck break you and just make you pick up.
Okay, Brad, you're next. What do you say?
You would be my sweet and cute little cupbearer, though, Brad.
I think everybody is underestimating how hurt people still are, and I mean, did we all watch the video?
Yeah,
we all saw it, right?
You couldn't help it. It was
no, but I just want to make sure because that is a big, important point too that you saw a man murdered, and that shouldn't. It was like I was watching Faces of Death without knowing I was going to watch it. That's what it gave me that feeling. And it was like a weird, gross, I wish I wouldn't have watched it.
It's forever burned in our brain.
Yeah.
Did you not get the feeling that it was one of those things where it just was in my feed? It wasn't a matter of before you could even scroll or whatever.
I was looking for information on it. I wasn't. I was not looking on this. And so I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying our reaction I think is way more visceral just because of witnessing it the way we all did. And I don't know that that's being acknowledged. And I think it should, because our reactions are becoming way too revolutionary for a murder.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the doxing part here in a little bit. But Lucy, do you feel that the level of tension is higher, or do you think it's even, or is it lowering?
Level of tension is continually being fomented and spiraled higher and higher by mainstream media. And the reason that is because they're finding it this very useful, not just for ratings, but because we now have people on the right demanding to do the exact same abhorrent behavior that they accused the left of, mere years ago. And so this is known as the Hegelian dialectic. You have thesis, antithesis, synthesis. So you have to get the cows on the right into the slaughterhouse. You have to get the cows on the left into the slaughterhouse. And now you've got them working together. They're turning each other in. The same Republicans that screamed about cancel culture and how dare you interrupt my free speech and, report me not wearing a mask at the Dollar General and trying to get people arrested. These are the exact same people performing the same hypocritical things. But what is that useful for? Notice that whether it's Team Red on the field or Team Blue on the field, the football continually marches down the road to tyranny.
Yep, yep. So Jay, you're isolated down there in Morgan County, back in the sticks, and I know you don't get out much. You probably don't even have internet. But anyway, what do you hear about this? And
well, we shoot 30-06 rifles down here, and we know what that kind of thing does.
Learned a few things from Copperhead Road, right?
But I absolutely agree with Lucy. I think that I had a very far right-wing buddy who supported Trump in all three campaigns and has been a very big Trump guy. Went to January 6th. Give me a call the other day, and he said, I actually I blame Trump just as much as I blame the other side. And it was like an aha moment for him. But Lucy, I've been with you on that for a while. It's something that's happening on both sides. I agree with the ideology of one side, but as far as the violence is concerned, and you're talking to a proud boy member back in the day, and but the reality is there's a lot of rhetoric, but I don't know what it's solving. Like Trump can come out and say, "Oh, this is a terrorist group. We're going to name this a terrorist group." Okay, well, what does that actually mean? Like, you can't, like Stephen Miller saying that, like, well, it's message. We're going to stop this messaging designed to trigger violence. Well, who decides what that is? I don't want anybody in government deciding that, because it's just going to be used against us. But I don't want anybody deciding that. I want to just stick to the damn Constitution. And right now we've got a bunch of people on the right, or they think they're on the right, that are saying things that, calling people racists and anti-Semites. They're doing all the stuff in the Republican Party that we made fun of Democrats for decades for doing. Now we're doing it. If we ask about the truth, if we ask about the money, then all of a sudden we're called these names. And I'm seeing a lot of that from the right. And so how do you decide what is or isn't, it's just who's in power? I mean, why don't we just follow the Constitution? If you're a political activist and you're out and you're breaking windows during a riot, we already have laws on the books to handle that situation. Why do we think more law is somehow going to change that? And how are you going to determine who is or isn't? Because somebody has an Antifa sticker on their backpack, we're going to send them away to prison because they listen to their college professors. It's just funny, but because what Lucy said, we got $40 trillion. The money keeps being spent. Trump is the biggest spending president of all time. Of all time. He is the biggest spending president of all time. He's added more trillions to that number than anybody else. And while we're all fighting, that number just keeps going up. It keeps going up. We keep handing more and more control to BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, the political state of Israel. If I see one more yarmulke on a politician, I'm going to throw up. It has nothing to do with, I don't care if you're Jewish, Hindi, Buddhist, Islam. I don't care what your faith is. I want you all to find Christ. But when it comes to some other foreign lobbyist running our country, I'm over it. I am over it. I don't care who the politician is, who the friend is. I'm over it. Be America first. You said you're America first. Be America first. And Trump is not America first. He's clearly sold his ass out and our ass out along with it to get his butt back in the White House.
Well, what do you expect from a guy that has a golden toilet? So I want to move on to the free speech.
I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone right now, guys, and I'm in paradise. It's like
I just keep hearing the same thing.
Just keep riding along, Brad. Just be quiet and stay in the back of the bus.
Keep going, guys.
I think at some level we have always agreed on a certain level of unfairness that, sometimes your side will say, well, it's capitalism. Capitalism's bad. Well, no, because it's not really capitalism. We were talking about these data center deals and farmers selling their land. Well, that's not on the open market. That's all done in a backdoor deal with politicians where that's not the open market. But we're gonna beat up capitalism over it. That's not capitalism. That's cheating. That's not really capitalism.
Yes, that's corruption.
Yeah. So I want to keep us on topic here, and then we can beat up on some data centers later. But remember, the data centers are responsible for bringing our show on here. So I'm going to go to the Westboro, to this one. Let's see if I can do this. So this is the Westboro Baptist Church I got to make it bigger here. And, back in 2011, the Westboro Baptist Church is going to quadruple their funeral protest after the Supreme Court ruled that they could do this. It was sort of a free speech thing. So they might have quadrupled their protests. They were basically protesting these soldiers coming back because of our country's. It was a very convoluted deal here. So you can look up
like anti-gay people. Like they would have like signs up. They would be protesting at funerals, and the only reason I brought that up was because Tom Ogden, he's in my Facebook a lot. I appreciate all of his posts, but he did mention like what kind of people would protest a funeral.
And I think it was good, Brad. And by the way, folks, when Brad, this is why we have a good show tonight. Not just because we got Whitty on here and Jay and you two, but Brad sent out some talking points, and that really helps us keep the thing organized. But this is a good point. This talks about free speech. So my question is going to be, that was considered their free speech, but when is free speech? They say don't yell fire in a crowded theater. I think when you are yelling, oh, he deserved to be assassinated, I think and I'm going to ask y'all, but my opinion is that's pretty much like yelling fire in a crowded theater. So what do you think, Jay? I see you up there sniggling your nose.
I don't think so. And you're a person who loves Charlie Kirk, adores his family, loved his message, loved what he was doing. It's America. You have the right to be an ass. And as much as I don't like it, and I love that people pay a consequence for being an ass, because the people let them know. I mean, it's the thing that crosses the line is when there's a government that's getting involved in that process. I mean, when you start to use government agencies to pressure people to reject a product or reject a person, that's a whole other thing. But if people want to go out and say, hey, you shouldn't buy Nikes because Nikes, uses slave labor, then that's great.
Yeah, and we'll get into the firing stuff in a minute. That's the next topic. So I want to sort of give but Lucy, what do you think on this? I guess to clarify my thing, it's like, I just think it's irresponsible for somebody to do that. I think they have the right to do it, but I'm like, hey, you might have the right, but it may not be right is sort of what I'm saying. So Lucy, what do you think?
Yeah, everything that's permissible is not a good thing. What I'd really like to bring the conversation back to is the real problem here is that most people don't have a belief system that makes sense. So I believe that Christianity makes sense. I believe that Jesus is real. I believe that he's our savior, and we have no hope outside of him. Unfortunately, in large part due to public education, in order to align us with more Marxist theories and policies and beliefs, God was taken out of our schools a long time ago. And, it's not even that they really needed to be in the schools. Like, you can not have Jesus in the schools and yet simultaneously not push Karl Marx in the schools. And you could have had a very neutral tone to the schools.
What classes had Karl Marx in, Lucy? Like sociology and like world history are probably the only two that I encountered Karl Marx.
Karl Marx is in math. Yes, absolutely. If you're calculating taxes, you're calculating the second plank of communist Marxism, which is the abolition of private property and the application of the money to public.
She got you, Brad. She got you.
Okay.
No, I wasn't trying to
But
look at Whitty's dad there. He's like, man, I'm the guest on this show. I get to talk soon.
I'm the only based one here, so it doesn't matter.
Oh my God.
Absent a belief system that people are given, they will look for one, because unfortunately one problem with humans, and this is in the Old Testament, is they were looking for a king, and God's like, do you really want that? Like, how badly did that go for you before? And yet they're like, nope, we want a king. So he gave him one. It wasn't such a good thing. So absent a belief system, people will go look for one, and they will look for that leader. And so unfortunately in our day, that's become things like politics. People are literally revering Trump as a god, or Biden as a god, whoever is that false idol that they've created for
Who
themselves.
did that?
Even vaccines. Vaccines are an entire religion. They're based on faith, not science. But if you dissent from the scripture of vaccines, which is really from the marketing departments of the various manufacturers, then you are roundly attacked. I mean, people would have literally, were calling for my children to be eliminated from the gene pool because they've never gotten pokes. So,
Or in a
I think we
concentration
really,
camp.
yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. Seriously. And so, and they were not, that was not hyperbole or rhetoric for them. That was their, sincere desire, to round people up that were smart enough not to line up for the government poison. So
They wanted us
I
to
guess
die, actually.
they really did want us to die. And I want you to ask yourself this question, because the mouse never asks why the cheese is free.
Government cheese. Yeah. There you go. So Whitty, I'm glad you got the last word. I'm gonna let, because I like to see you go after Whitty anyway. So what's your thoughts on this, on both? If you don't have some kind of, I guess, spiritual guidance or something to follow, or some kind of guidelines, and then also on the free speech thing.
Well, I'll start with the free speech thing. I think when people talk about, it's like, well, the same thing as yelling fire and there's no fire. Well, I think there just needs to be consequences for actions. So if someone does that, either they're going to get buck broken or get their ass beat for all of that stuff. But the problem is that right now, it's like, I see the three people on top right now are not in Marion County. The only two people that are in Marion County that are in the left armpit of Indiana are these two people right here. And this is the kind of stuff. I don't have right here, but you guys see that guy in Luger Plaza that was setting his balls on fire? We have to deal with stuff like that. And I think I'm totally with Lucy on this thing, with and Jay, of course, if where Christianity is the way, Jesus is king. But the problem is right now society's filled up with a bunch of hedonistic Redditors who are just like, listen, you're loyal to Cloud Daddy. Listen, that Jew on a stick right there, those are the people that you're going after right now. And I'm just like, no, actually, Christ is king. The basic morals are in the book. Here's an idea. Just don't cut yourself up. Hey, is it a good idea? But the problem is that all this stuff is great in theory, but people do not understand what discipline is anymore, or what hard work is anymore. And I'm not talking about like, hey, you have to go out there and get a job. I'm just talking about not going after sin. I'm talking about, hey, maybe smoking weed or watching porn is not really a good lifestyle for you. Whiskey, or abusing anything. I'm talking about just abuse. There is a level of discipline where you can do certain things. It's just not going past that. Hey, Bled, you know how I feel about fat people, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, you have a well documented reputation of that. And it's like the fat shaming. You are the king Whitty fat shamer, that's for sure. So Brad, I'm going to give you the last word on this. What about the something to follow, something that leads you, and then the free speech, or both at the same time?
I mean, I feel like this really awakened something in a lot of people. A lot of people reacted to like Charlie Kirk's murder just a lot more than I thought they would publicly, on social media. And it kind of opened my eyes to, like, I didn't know that people were watching when they weren't speaking too, like, I think that should be addressed. I think it's kind of called people up a little bit, woke them up. And I hope, that they pay attention and start doing research, and they're not just like led by emotion, towards somebody else's goals. I feel like that
exactly
is a possibility.
Can I add to that?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
I think that there's another side to that as well. I mean, yes, I think that it's called a lot of people up, like you said. I think a lot of people were shocked, and there was a kind of a massive response. There still is a massive response to it. I actually think that there's a massive response that's quite negative about it as well, where you have a lot of truth tellers in the world that are kind of going, am I next? it's really kind of it's kind of set that pace right now, and we don't want to live that way. We don't want to live in a society that's like that. So, is there going to be a tit for tat? Is that what we're going to do? We keep hearing Republicans. It's kind of sickening in a way to the politicizing of all this. But they're like, oh look, the left is the only side that does this. The right doesn't do this, and the right doesn't. Well, I'm on the right, and I can say that for many years now, we've used a lot of we've ramped it up pretty good ourselves. And so I'm just wondering, where's the guy on the right living in the woods with nothing to lose? And are we going to see something like that? I hope we don't. I pray we don't. I really do. I'd like to see all this stuff just calm down and everybody start to like understand what Lucy was talking about earlier, is that there's somebody getting away with the booty while we're all fighting. There's somebody getting.
There's a distraction. Yeah. Look over there.
And I'm not saying that I agree with the things that are happening on the left. I'm saying, can we all at least just start? And I think our youth.
No, I totally agree, Jay.
Charlie was nailing it with our youth, and I think it's why he's dead, to be honest.
Yeah, well, and I'd say that, and that's, me personally, I probably, we've done 239 shows. I've never really, and that's one a week. So I've never come out and done a little preaching sermon like I did. So, it's one of those things where, and I'm always cautious because, we've got people like Jimmy Swaggart and, I'm going to throw Joel Osteen in there. I'm going to show some of these TV evangelist guys. I don't want to be known for those guys. I don't want to be out here, preaching on the sidewalk, this and that, and then
you're not
like
asking us for money, so don't worry about it.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, and as I say,
and it was a great introduction to the show.
Well, I appreciate that, and I just the conviction preaching is where things. That's where you have issues, because it's like, how do you judge somebody that judges? How do you complain about a complainer?
Do you remember Tim Kramer, the guest from a couple of weeks ago? I've been following his Facebook page and Twitter page, and oh my God, because he yelled at me on the show, and I still remember that.
He takes no prisoners.
No, and like he talks like that on the show, and there's like an aggressiveness to it that. I mean, and especially ever since, September 10th. Yeah, that was really.
Yeah, well, and he convicts people on the political side, and then if we didn't touch on this either, but when you mix the politic and the theology together, and I would say that Micah Beckwith is sort of suffering from the same thing. Your buddy, Brad, Micah Beckwith.
Yeah, who could have seen that coming, man? Who at all could have seen that coming?
Well, and you know what? And Micah was going out and doing Charlie's, Kirk style debates with people, and very.
No, and that got me scared though too, because I told you guys last week, like I love you guys, like I don't want anything to ever happen to any of you.
That's the first phone call I made. That was the first phone call I made was to Micah.
No, that was like the person that. I mean, yeah, he does the same stuff, and it's like I don't want it, God forbid.
Yeah, it is very difficult to mix the politic, and I mean it's very, but we should, but I just don't know the right way. It's almost like telling somebody about your faith. My faith is very personal. I've had things happen in my life that there's no explanation. I have a saying. I said the atheist believes in just a coincidence. Somebody that's got partial beliefs believes in good luck, but a real believer believes in the Holy Spirit, and that's how you could break things down. Even an atheist gives their kids good stuff, right? But so how do you explain something that I can barely explain to myself that happened to me? There's no way. Honestly, I should be dead about 8 times, and I know that anybody that knows me knows that that's true because I really have no fear. I don't. I don't wear safety glasses at work type of thing.
That's me, buddy.
Yeah. And I know, Jay, we're kindred spirits in that direction. But to me, I tell people, you got to find your own personal way. And if my little sermon at the start, I said, do your own research, read the stinking Bible. It is the greatest story ever told. There's so many little nuances and rabbit holes and different things that you can go down that you'll never read it all. And you read it over 3 or 4 or 6 times or whatever.
No, but then like, isn't there part of it that like is strange that it's disregarded?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, John the Baptist's head's getting chopped off.
Yeah.
And Jesus was like, hey, well,
Thank
okay,
you,
let's
because I
go
was going
fish.
to ask you about that. Like, I forgot all about that. And
and Herod's daughter's name was his stepdaughter, Salome.
Salome, yeah. So there you go. Yeah, it was. And back then, they had 3, 4, 5. Wives, and it was just
but
chaos.
I feel like a lot of that language is kind of coming back too, with like executions and stuff. People aren't wanting to wait for drugs.
Can I tell you something about our friend Micah Beckwith? I normally don't share private conversations, but this is one I wouldn't mind sharing, and I'm sure Micah would mind as well. But my first phone call that day, like as soon as I got that news, and unfortunately I saw somebody sent me the link to this.
Yeah, it just gets in your face. You can't not see it.
Shocking. I didn't even think it was real, but I just instantly like called Micah. We have a friendship that goes way beyond politics, and just like you and I, John, or me and a bunch of other people I've met in politics, it goes way beyond politics. But I called Micah and I just said, dude, I'm like super worried about you right now. I'm really scared. I'm really worried about you. And it was funny because it's not really me, because I'm a pretty strong believer. And he said, don't be worried about me. I'm not worried about me. We can't live in fear. I'm going to continue to do what I do for the Lord. And so I was really impressed by that. I loved it in that moment. I mean, he didn't skip. He didn't think. This was happening. It had just happened. He was on the phone with some other people, and it was very, very sincere and very real. And it was inspiring. I love that. And we have to be that way. We can't go through our whole life this way, because we're going to heaven. There's nothing you can do to me. You can take my house, you take my money, you can take my life, but you can't take the one thing that matters.
I always say, my prayer in the morning is, what can I do for you, God? And then my prayer at night is one day closer to meeting you. So, it's
like with the violence that just comes from like the hatred. It's like, we're all here, this is our time. You can't end anyone else's. Like, we're all in it.
We're all in it. But I'll tell you,
understand that concept of that we're not, or that we have, any kind of duty because whatever that guy says is too much for me to take. So,
yeah. Well, we do have an obligation to defend people, though. There is room in this world for violence. I agree with Whitty. There's room in the world for violence. In fact, there's room in the Bible for violence, and God commands us. You talk about
we're just talking about wait, didn't you say we should have $50 fights? Like, you should be able to pay to get.
If you're going to do a defamation case, you have to have a mutual combat.
Yes, I love that idea. That is a beautiful concept.
I know so John unfair. Does.
That would be so unfair. It'd just
no, but so unfair. I also hate that concept, or that idea that there's no other way to stop this person.
Well, the problem is right now is that there's just so much violence and no consequence. Like, just over the weekend in Marion County, there was that 21-year-old who just popped a gun out and killed 2 people.
There was a school shooting the day of the Charlie Kirk murder.
Exactly the same thing. It's there's just no consequence to a lot of these actions. And unless people really realize, and that's why I say there needs to be public executions again. We used to publicly execute people for stealing horses and cows.
Aren't they?
And aren't
you aware of the consequences?
But nobody's seeing it. Marion County, all these shithead prosecutors are just no. Hey, you know what? Maybe we just need to move that line a little bit more. You know what? They're just wanting bread. That's all. It's no, these people are violent and they know they can get away. Anybody with children knows they are going to be habitual line steppers until they get spanked or burned.
Yeah. So I want to switch it up here a little bit. Janet asked a good question. Look at the multiplication of believers due to Charlie's death. Do you think that there's an influx of that? I mean, I've heard the word revival.
People getting back into it.
I don't know. Yeah, revival. Would revival be a good word?
Yeah.
Revival?
Yeah.
Or faith.
Yeah.
So I think it really shook a lot of people. And that's where they went.
Yeah, it did me. Honestly, this is the first time I've really talked about it. And I think it helped me Sunday to I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I got to listen to it because we serve homeless on Sunday at 3, but I was able to listen on my phone, and anymore you can listen pretty much anything anywhere. So it and this is a good thing. It's like a lot of people can hear but it's like, does it take? I mean, it's like a warning. Like I said, it's a warning of there is, if you watch, and I wasn't a big watcher of Charlie Kirk stuff, but I would watch him talk, and the dude was just spot on. He not only knew the Bible front ways and back ways, but he knew about all these authors and all these things. He just really was on his game. And it's like we look at the 60s when they assassinated JFK, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy. It's like you don't replace those people. There's not going to be a replacement for Charlie Kirk. There's going to be people that are going to come up, but they're not going to be him.
That's what my worry is. There's a massive power vacuum right now, and we don't know what grifters are going to start entering the space, no matter where you are. It could be spies, could be traitors, could be a Trojan horse for all we know. And you have all these people that are just going to, we don't know. I think Lucy had the best comments right now, though, in the private chat, saying Kenneth Copeland, who is literally a demon, is a TV preacher.
Oh, he
we
looks
don't
like
know
one.
how many Kenneth Copelands are going to try entering the sphere now that Charlie Kirk is found. Charlie was basically like a gatekeeper to try and keep all the evil out. And right now the gate is open, so we don't know what's going to be coming in or out.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's pretty funny to hear all the people in APAC talk about just how much they love Jesus today.
Yeah, well,
it's so politicized. I just can't. Honestly, I can't watch. I watched Tucker's speech. I couldn't hardly watch anything else. I watched Erica's speech. I couldn't hardly watch it. I didn't really want to because it's just so politicized, and there's so much money coming into the game trying to fight for who's going to control Charlie's legacy. And there's a whole lot of APAC money that's really trying to get there. And it's really like, it's so incredibly obvious to me. I think it should be obvious to everybody in the entire world that there's this foreign lobbying group that's trying to just completely seize control of our country. And they're super worried because Charlie was growing those crowds. He was growing kids. It was growing, and that's who's going to be making our decisions. And my generation and the generation and the boomer generation as a whole, I'm generalizing here, but I can't wait. And honestly, I can't wait till they're gone and the youth come, because they are starting to catch on and they're starting to say, nope, we're not doing this. We're not.
Hey, watch it, Jay. I'm a boomer. Okay. I'm trying to, live my best boomer life.
I'm generalizing.
Yeah, I know. Well, and I agree. I mean, I go to a lot of GOP meetings and there's nothing but boomers up in there, and it's always going to be the same old thing. And I see Whitty, he's like, well, I got boomers' heads on a spike.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it.
Boomers show up at like Democratic events and stuff. Why do you guys always say that they're paid activists? Instead of just admitting that
because they are, because you can literally go on government websites that are recruiting for crisis actors. But I caused a whole big stink after Charlie's public execution on my wall, because I pointed out that Donald Trump Jr. was doing an impression of his dad, and he was doing this. Okay, so let me make sure you know what this is.
Yeah, the 666.
Yes, and I think I've got this backwards. Let me do it this way. Yeah. So you see, this is the bottom of a 6, and then each of my fingers. I'm going to try and trace this. Let's see. It's hard to do backwards. So this is a 6, and this is a 6, and then the pinky finger. This is a 6. So this literally is a gang sign for Luciferians, so that they know who each other is. Now, if you also put this with the all-seeing eye, you'll see a lot of stars all over. Just go look at one eye stars. And
since you said that, Lucy, I can't unsee it.
You can't unsee it.
So I want to say
how like Germans say 3. Like I saw in Glorious
Fear.
No, this is the German 3. 1, 2, 3. Nope.
No,
that's
like
American.
you don't use your thumb. Like
no, the thumb is 1 in German. I was a German minor and a Spanish minor with a French major.
Like this
is 1.
God, like
this is 2. This is
Lucy's a Nazi. All of a sudden, Lucy's a Nazi. What's
Never
up?
mind. I'm
2
sorry.
is like this.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of different
So
sign language. There's also some controversy over the I love you sign. And I saw a meme, and who knows if it's true, I haven't had a chance to look at it, that Gene Simmons actually applied for this as a trademark. And he stole Kiss from another band,
no,
but they had to
he's
trademark it. He is reprehensible.
he
He's
is
pretty
something
gross.
else. He is a piece of
So
arrogant
I want
work.
you all to know this, if I said, "Hey, everything's good, everything's okay," and I'm saying, "Hey, it's okay," but this is F you in sign language, and this is butthole in sign language.
So when
If you
I
don't know
remember,
these things, I can't believe you're an adult in this country and don't know these things.
yeah, what we do now. So I remember Rodney Dangerfield when he said, "Hey, all I want is one of these someday. I want a attaboy. Oh, I'll tell you." So now that maybe he was part of that. Like that's the Dorn. Is
Yeah,
that
that's the
Dorn's
Dorn
arm?
arm.
Yeah, the
Dorn's arm coming in the
Dorned in the
flashbang.
house.
Okay.
So
You got
speaking
to
of
be
that,
careful talking about Gene Simmons. You'll be an anti-Semite by morning.
yeah, well, yeah. So
We
speaking
can
of
talk
Trump,
about how terrible
speaking of
his
Trump,
music is.
I commented about Trump's speech at the thing there. I mean, was anybody? I was.
Thank you for that too.
And
John.
I was.
This show's been amazing with how much you guys have called out shit that like I also hated.
Yeah, well, and I think that's where we can find some common ground here. And like I said, the gospel preaches itself. But to me, that was a memorial. Why the world we're talking about some of the stuff we were talking about on there. He started out pretty good by talking about Charlie, but then I really don't like it when people say, "Well, I know Charlie would have liked this." No, Charlie's not here anymore. Say some kind words about him and get your off the stage.
Well, they got
that's
to
what
time
you
the
do.
pyrotechnics just right, John.
You're so distasteful.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was like a Trump rally. I'm sorry, it was very much like a Trump rally.
Like that. Like he wanted the jokes when he said, I hate my opponents. Like I know he said that because he thought it was going to get a laugh because at a regular Trump rally that would have killed. He would have gotten laughs.
Well,
and it would
they
have
killed
been
Charlie.
I don't know how they should have done this
that too the other day, and like nobody said anything.
I can't believe they had the vice president, the secretary of state, our national intelligence. I mean, they had all of them there. Everybody was there to grab onto Charlie's loosh and to try and legitimize them.
Yeah,
it was
all of those people talking about Jesus, like Marco Rubio's talking about Jesus, and I'm like, now wait a second. By their fruits you shall know them. So God's telling us, don't just listen to what people are saying. Like actually observe. John Deloney says it best, behavior is a language. And all of these people, and then to see Donald Trump Jr., doing this while he's making fun of his dad. And then did y'all notice Elon and Trump together? They did their special Masonic handshake. That was kind of weird. At least I think that's what they were doing. But then they both had their diamonds. They both had their diamonds.
Trump's not a Mason.
Yeah. So
then why is he flashing the Masonic signs? Are you a Mason?
I am indeed.
So is there like a list? You get, like,
here we go. Yeah, you can't be telling secrets on Mouthwash.
Boy.
You want to see?
So
you got to put the banner up, John.
You want to see
it in there? Let's
you want to see my children out in the barn?
No, but if you're a Mason,
I
want you to look into the camera, Jay. If you're a Mason, I want you to look into the camera and explain who Gaotu is, the great architect of the universe, and to explain the difference between the Scottish Rite and the York Rite.
Lucy, if he does that, his soul will explode.
They call us profane. We are the profane. The uninitiated are the profane. And there's some that are saying that it's a Hiram Abiff. Look up Hiram Abiff. Look it up, and then look at who a Tyler is, because Tyler is not the killer. John's seen the video of who the killer is.
I think Lucy's a secret Mason. Were you like getting a candy bar when they're
Lucy Fur? Yeah. I've been accused of being Lucy Fur.
Yeah.
Wow. No, okay. Well, we'll save the Masonic secrets for a different show. How's that? So
you got to get people,
Lucy,
authentic and off guard. Albert Pike.
No, I think it's great. I love that. I think it's great.
Alexa, shut up.
I had to tell China.
Hey, I wish I wish we could say that to Trump. Hey, Trump, shut up.
I say that all the damn time, John.
Hey, and to be fair, hey, you know what? A lot of us that are really angry on the right with Donald Trump and don't like Donald Trump, make no mistake, we still, even though Trump is a dumbass and we're mad at him, we still like him a whole lot better than Kamala
Speak
Harris.
for yourself.
Well,
Speak
I would
for
say
yourself.
that this
They're
is
all
like,
deplorable.
But I still think like if we had masks and stuff, that's the best part about it. You can boo people without even them knowing where it's coming
like
from.
ventriloquism.
Lucy, I'm with you. I don't like Donald Trump at all. I don't. I've completely.
Okay, so as long as I'm making people mad, John, you have to let me make the Mormons mad because I grew up Mormon. And the reason that I know about Masonry is because Joe Smith, they hate it when you call him Joe, by the way, because they like Joseph Smith. No, it's Joe Smith. When he created the Mormon religion out of thin air, the South Park episode describes exactly what happened and how smart Lucy Harris is. So Lucy is smart, smart, smart. Anyway, the Mormon Joe Smith became a Mason, and less than 90 days later, the egomaniac said that he had restored the temple ceremonies of Solomon even more perfect than Solomon himself had it. And so the Mormons have the same tokens and penalties that the first 3 degrees of Masonry do. And Mormon special underwear, which I, washed many of my parents' Mormon special underwear, has a square embroidered on one nipple and a compass on the other. And I think they have a bar tack for the navel, but I don't remember. So
Really?
literally the 5 points of fellowship, what is it? Breast to breast, knee to knee, hand to back. And I always forget the last one. The Mormonism has all of that. And you don't get to the highest levels of Mormonism without confessing all of your sins, which opens you up to blackmail to your local bishopric. And then they literally give you a card and then they sign it. So you would call you a card carrying Mormon. And you couldn't go into the temple without that. So you can Google
or
the
your
temple
magic
ceremonies.
underwear.
Yeah,
So-
and here's
Isn't
the
there
funny
like
thing.
isn't there something with Mormons with float soaking? That's what it was. Isn't there? Do Mormons
yeah.
soak?
That
we
was
figured you'd
that's a
get to that.
yeah, that's an
That's a
urban
whole-
myth. I can tell you that
Oh.
wasn't a thing in the 80s when I was a Mormon. But
Maybe
it
some
would
new
I
age
think
shit.
it's a pretty good
You got to
viral
save that
joke.
for your show. You can do a
And Mitt
segment
Romney.
on soaking because
You know, where
this
like
is
they're
sort of
someone's on the bunk bag and then they put like their legs on, they start shaking it and everything.
that's not it.
Yeah.
Oh,
it would
yeah,
be,
that's your
it would be
friend.
even funnier if it were
No.
true.
Well, wait, can we go back to the memorial? Because Whitty, in your show, you talked about you went to the vigil,
Yep.
right, for Charlie Kirk.
Up in
Mhm.
Zionsville.
Zionsville.
But you said that there was one lady who said, "When the demons are happy that you're dead."
Yeah, the demons will rejoice when you're dead, basically, because like you were part of God's army, and then now that you're killed, it was. I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
Yeah, but like that was. But you even said that sentiment was like a little.
It was
you
fine.
know.
Everybody was hooting and hollering because evil
was there
wants
any
you dead.
protesters? Was there any protesters?
No, there were no
No.
protesters, right?
No, in fact, I went to the one in downtown. No protesters over there too. I have been saying this for a long time. Indiana or like even Indianapolis, they don't have like the hard lefty. I mean, there's like fringe groups like DSA, like Jesse Brown, obviously, but like we don't have the problems like in San Francisco or Portland or Seattle, any of those
Hey,
problems.
we got Cassie Jackson. She's enough lefty for everybody.
Yeah,
So-
now she's smearing us.
Yeah, they're at home. They're at home on social media. They don't have enough money to go to the riots.
So with saying that point, this is our last clip here. So I'm going to play this one because this has been a very, very interesting show this evening. Let me see here if I can get this up. Let's see, screen share. It'd be great to have a producer here. Okay, let's see if we can get to this one.
I'm sure we can get like an intern, John.
Yeah, right.
At this point.
So anyway, I'm going to make this as big as possible, and I just have to read it to you because it's hard to see. So Todd Rokita's put out this deal here that he's going to go after teachers. He's going to go after teachers that said anything negative about the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I'm going to start with you, Brad, because maybe I could read in there librarians too, possibly.
No,
but
librarians are going in there.
How far reaching is that going to go? And he just issued like a new 6-page letter tonight, like I don't know, a couple hours ago, to assist school corporations on why they should punish teachers in this. And the one thing that I kind of gathered, you know, he cites all these court cases, and it's like teachers have this responsibility, they have that responsibility, they have this sort of impact, and I'm like, wow, you guys. You have pretty high regards for teachers. You guys should really increase like benefits and like, you know, maybe recruit more teachers to stop the teacher shortage. And
yeah, well, that's my point.
That. But it was all, yeah, you can fire him if you want to. Like that was the basic gist of it.
I think
and it's just calling on people to like look. And I don't even think it has to be in your school corporation. Like I could call up for anyone. And once you sick the internet on somebody, how is that not doxing in itself?
Exactly.
I would fire 90% of the teachers for far less than this.
Yeah.
They've already done enough for me to fire at least 90%.
Yeah, well, and it's a tough job. I've been a substitute teacher. I know that the substitute gets a little more slack.
Listen, Rokita, you don't have to sell me on the idea. I'm already on board.
Yeah.
Well,
let's raise the stakes.
I'll go along with it if Todd goes and substitute teaches at least one day a week to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
As long as he gets a certain, I just want the fine completed for a certain Marion County Fairground person. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see. That's a whole different game. That's a whole different ball game. Well, and our show here has been talking about.
But also, like the thing that bothered me about Ball State specifically, though, is they are all adults in college, correct? This isn't like you are doing anything to minors or subjecting them to something that they are not willingly paying for, right?
Right.
Wasn't she fat?
I do. I knew there was a reason we had Whitty on here just for this occasion. Well, she was the Health and Human
Services. Crimes
Services
Against Humanity.
She was the Health and Human Services administrator, is what I gather. And honestly, I don't think that people should be losing their jobs over this. I think it's a knee-jerk overreaction of things. I think people now are having a little buyer's remorse of it. I mean, you got Jimmy Kimmel coming out and saying his nonsense, and he missed a week of pay, which probably didn't bother him. He won't be able to buy that extra Porsche now. But, I think that we need to, like, everybody just needs to take a daggone breath.
I just want the government to stop getting involved in it. We already have school corporations. If a local school teacher says something that's just reprehensible and just awful, somebody in that community has a responsibility to fire them. And if they don't, then it's their own fault. And that's the problem with, honestly, that's why I really don't want anything else to do with politics. I don't plan to run for anything ever again, because until this country as a whole, the people change, it doesn't mean anything for me to run. It's not, unless they're going to actually be responsible in this nation and start actually voting with knowledge and understanding the way the world is working and how it's pointless. It's honestly just pointless. So, why
that's the Andrew Horning quote of the week right there, Jay. That is the most pessimistic thing that I've heard, and it is so truthful. Like,
it's discouraged. I mean, it's
so horrible. Like, you just want them to all pay attention.
Jim Lucas told me today, well, he said we were kind of going back and forth a little bit because, he was posting some nonsense about Trump. He always posts all this nonsense about Trump. He's like, I don't know if he just likes getting the clicks and likes getting me to and other people to like go at him or whatever, probably. But he posts some really, really stupid stuff. It's just completely dumb, anti-constitutional stuff all the time. And then, we're kind of going back and forth. He said, why don't you man up and run for office? And I'm like, well, you got a short memory, Jim. I saw you during my campaign quite a bit, actually. And I said, well, it's kind of tough to win when you don't have, Marin or the Zaffies, HRCC or the Senate Campaign Committee giving you a lot of money. I didn't get any of that money.
In fact, they were giving the other guy a lot of money.
I said, did you get any of that money, Jim? Oh, yeah. They're your biggest lobbying group that's behind you is HRCC, the lobbyists. His post was bitching about lobbyists at the national level. He's a state representative, and the majority of his money comes from lobbyists.
Yeah, well, it's a club, and we ain't in it, as the famous George Carlin said.
We need a show about lobbyists, man. We need a.
Yeah, but in this establishment, we're talking about the establishment here. They have a simple process. It's discourage and destroy, rinse and repeat. I've seen it. And honestly, Jay, I would have quit a long time ago. But you know what? they've made me mad enough that I'm not quitting. So,
Yeah.
but it'd be pretty, and I'm like, I mean, I'm starting to ride my bike again. I had a pretty decent garden this year.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to a meeting Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, it's sort of relaxing a little bit.
Yeah.
And
I've gotten
then
a lot done. I've gotten a lot done.
yeah, and if we do win, then we're going to have all these headaches because we're going to have the pressure like Micah Beckwith has of being this superstar. He's got to get all this stuff done, and then he's going to fail and all that. Now, this is, if you're a frequent viewer of the show, this is when Brad, the Bud Light kicks in. This is when Brad has to go to the bathroom, and then we could talk about him. So, Steve, give us, talk about Brad while he's gone to the bathroom. How many times you've kicked him off your show?
Only one time. He was getting a little out of control there. I think the Bud Light was kicking in with him a little early. But you know what? When I rule this world, Brad is going to be a wonderful cupbearer. He's going to be folding my socks and ironing my underwear. He's going to be a good and sweet little Sawinski for me.
Yes. You're definitely, Tiffany usually gives Brad a bunch of garbage. So
yeah,
I'm
where's
glad you're
Tiffany?
here.
She's shilling for another GOP party.
I don't know. She was last week, if you tuned in, she asked a question that wasn't, really coherent. And she sent a message to us after she was exhausted.
Is that what the kids are saying now?
Yeah. Keep it on Brad.
See, that's why Whitty's why I went home. Whitty's on the wall now. I don't got to be on the wall. Whitty's on the wall. I don't need to be on the wall.
On the wall.
Yeah.
I don't kiss any wall.
He's up there. That's what I do. I go down to the liquor store and I'm like,
oh yeah. You know what I do? I go down to the liquor store and I say 3 more.
Not 3 more, but 3 more. There he is. Hey, Brad, we weren't even talking.
Iron shit.
We I hope you hear that. All right, kids. So, maybe Jay's probably going to get a prop or something.
Get some whiskey.
So, let's see. We really didn't talk about anything else, other than that. But I think this is a serious conversation to have, and I think the timing is
all right. So we all of us need to have an answer though. Is there an AI video or not?
Okay, let's talk about. We'll talk about that, and then we'll wrap it up. So apparently, Tony Katz is going to put out $100,000 reward for this video. And
when
I'm thinking,
is that happening?
He has plenty of money that comes from APAC, so he can do that.
Yeah, well, he's checking with the lawyers or whatever. I'll tell you why there's not going to be a video, because whoever made this video is going to freaking go to jail for making the video, if it is even there. I don't even know if it's there. This is such a concocted story. And if you go back to one person is the common denominator on this. That's Erin Sheridan. And I'm sorry, but she has been trying to undermine Micah's office ever since she stepped inside that place. I have a text message from her back in July that she was trying to sow just ill feelings between him and the governor that she wanted me to spread, and I didn't really think about.
John,
I know I don't, but I'm just saying this is what my perspective on this, and I got fairly close to somebody that could have possibly made this. A certain campaign guy that they have a. I hate this guy on Friday. They're known for their memes. And Chris Spangle, I'm going to say his name because I asked him a question about it, and he sent back, "Oh yeah, I made a video about your mom at the Iowa AGs, and it was a big hit because she's a pig." I'm like, well, that's not really a great answer when somebody asks you about an AI video. That's not really what you want to say. And then he came back and said, well, I don't have the capabilities of doing that. Now that sort of was a red flag.
Literally everyone in the world has the capabilities.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the fact
I don't. Otherwise, I'd have P. Arthur on my background right now.
Oh yeah, you should have. What's your deal?
No, but you got Rowan's Into Silence on there.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the 3 people I asked, I got emails from their lawyers, and one of them was from Fergie Drinker, which is a big lawyer outfit. And I'm already getting sued for defamation, so I don't need another lawsuit. So it's like, but I think that we were getting close to, if there is somebody that did this, that's where people should be looking. But I just don't think it's going to come out. I just don't think it's going to come out. And
well, I think it's kind of pointless. I don't know how they can investigate it properly at this time now, too. Like, that time has passed, and I'm like, I don't understand how they all missed it. Like, was it on government phones that this happened? Because
nobody knows that. No, even the Aaron Sheridan didn't know when exactly it happened. So,
but am I right though? This is a grand jury thing too. No?
I think who knows? I mean, nothing's come out. It is, if you look at it, it's the same people that fabricated this and perpetuated this story. It's the same people involved.
We have a supermajority because everyone's on just the same side, covering up for everybody.
I think
it's all handshakes and hand jobs, Brad.
Yeah, it's right.
I think there's certain people that aren't in the club. And I think there's definitely a rift between the establishment people and I would say Micah, Todd Rokita, some other people that are sort of.
No, I think Todd's still more establishment than.
I would not be. He sure will poke the bear. He sure will poke the bear.
Todd Young.
Todd Young is the establishment for sure.
Oh yeah, he's definitely the establishment. He is married to
Mrs.
who was the vice president that couldn't spell potato. Quayle. Yeah, he's married to Dan Quayle's niece.
Yeah. It's like it's all So now you got me all cranked up about politics.
Todd Young reposted Trump tweet today.
Why?
He's super MAGA now, man.
Who is?
Todd Young.
Oh, I thought you said Jefferson Shreve.
He heard that I liked him. And
we're going to get Lucy to run against him again.
Yeah. I heard about the deal that he cut with Trump way back. He cut a deal with Trump back with the nomination and said, I'll vote for all your people. Just stay out of my race and let me stay and I'll do what you say. And that's what he's been doing. Todd Young's very smart. He's a smart, hardworking dude. He just happens to be a piece of shit.
Other than that's like is that a left-handed compliment or a
sorry one? I keep forgetting we're not just sitting in your
well, it's past 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, so we'll let you slide on that. But we are getting a little long here, but it's been a great show. I think it's been I think
you're not going to play the video.
Which video am I playing?
The one that shows Charlie Kirk's actual killer.
No, I'm not playing that guy. I'm not playing that.
Okay.
All right. I can't do it. But
wait, Lucy, was that the one that was in the comments of your post today, like on Facebook?
I don't think that was in the talking points, was it?
No, I have not publicly. I have not publicly posted it. If we do play it here, it'll get it'll attract some attention to the show.
So which video are you talking about? Him actually getting shot, or
you talking about the security guard?
Well, I'll tell you what. The guy that's actually
down
part
the
of the
hallway
security detail.
Yeah, the guy who's going like this.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes, well, the guy that actually shot him.
Okay. Again.
Oh.
Hey, put the banner out.
We can go to the conspiracy theory. Send it to me.
Conspiracy theories.
Wait. Can we hear about? I want to seriously though hear more about that. Like Whitty, you seem to a little.
No, we're going to do it. We're going to do it, Jay. This is what we do here. Lucy, did you put it? She put it in the chat.
And I could not get there. I tested it while we were talking a little bit earlier, and I could not get there unless I put it in an incognito window. So.
Let's see if I can do that.
This is going to be a good time to have a producer be like, "Yeah, I got it." There you go.
Yeah, this would be. Good.
You're gonna. What y'all need to look at is second 8.
You're probably not going to want to see this.
And second 15. No, there's no blood in this one.
Okay,
but the whole thing happens.
So this is 36 seconds long. Is that the correct video? 36 seconds.
Yes, it's very short, and you're going to want to pay attention.
I'm gonna put up the banner. I don't want to. I've already got enough lawsuits going on here, and I don't know if this is for entertainment purposes or whatever. But
this is definitely not official, and no alphabet agency is putting any of this forward.
Okay, so this is which one is this one? Is this the? Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm going to share it. Now I'm going to go to it, and I'm going to play. I got to do the big part.
I would keep the sound off.
I really don't want to see a great guy lose his life again. I really don't want to watch
it. It's the whole thing, but without the blood.
Yeah.
There's no blood in this one. This is the only one.
Yeah.
All right.
I would
let's see here.
At a minimum,
chop the head off a deer and crawl inside of it, but I just don't want to see.
Okay, here you go. Here. So what are we looking for, Lucy? I'll leave everybody on here. So.
All right. You've gone too far.
I got too far.
Well,
Hold on, I can back it up.
Yep, you're going to have to back it up. There you go.
You talking about the guy with the white hat?
Nope. Okay, so right
The guy
there.
with the
Stop.
sleeve?
Hold. Okay, so directly to
Oh, that
Charlie's
guy.
right, there's a guy he looks like he has a tan shirt on. You'll find out later it actually has kind of like some plaid on it. His left hand, now this is technology that I just read about. His left hand has on a watch. This is meta technology that's been developed. He's got sunglasses on. And apparently there is an aiming mechanism with software that displays on the glasses, and the watch somehow helps with that. So you'll want to look that up. This is a new meta thing. But it's the guy who is directly to Charlie's right in the tan shirt. His left hand is on the banner. And you're going to see at 8 seconds, which is 1 second from now, he's going to pull his right hand up. He has what's known as a palm pistol. So it's literally inside his hand. Those of
I
you
see
who
what
put
you're
this
talking
on a
about.
big screen are going to be able to see a small dark barrel. I think it's between his index and middle fingers. And so at 8 seconds, he pulls it up. At 9 seconds, Charlie slumps. Then what you're going to see is like anybody that has shot before, he follows his shot. He follows his prey. He makes sure that his prey is down. Then everybody rushes to the stage to help Charlie. Then this guy jumps over the barrier, and that's what you'll see at 15 seconds. He'll jump over the barrier, and then he is one of the people that carries Charlie to the SUV. So go ahead and roll tape.
Okay.
Up, bam, down, follows his prey. Okay, so everybody's like, what's going on? What's going on? And then did you see him come forward at 15
right
seconds?
there.
Yes, and he is one of the ones that picks up Charlie. Now, all of what I'm saying is conspiracy and conjecture. Y'all have to just, we don't know what's real at this point because with AI, we just don't know what's real. But there are a lot of people that had cell phones. So these videos are on the internet. There's every time they get put up on social media, obviously they get taken down. The AI is fantastic at finding things and taking them down.
Wow,
but there
that's
are other videos that, and one of the videos. Go ahead.
I know, Jay had talked about. I know he's a hunter and all that, and then I saw a picture of how far, that 200 yards away, and all that. Jay, what do you think about a so-called amateur? That's and he came from a hunting family. He was out, lived out in Utah. I get that.
My kid could hit that. She's 12.
Okay, that's
she could hit that. It would, it'd take a little bit of adjustment but that was a good scope, and my kid could have gotten that for sure.
Yeah, and when you're 12 feet away, it's even.
But I'll tell you what, that's not the idea that. Listen, and again, I love Charlie Kirk. I adore the work that he was doing.
I love him too. I think it's amazing.
A 30-06 round is. I mean, and I believe in miracles. I do believe in miracles, but I think it's just odd that, I to be honest, I thought Tyler Robinson shot our friend Charlie until the government started talking. And they're just, I don't know if they just if they're just really bad liars or if they purposely want us to know, hey, we're doing this. Don't mess with us because we'll do it to you too.
They started talking pretty early.
But it's just every time they talk, like the text messages, that was just so stupid. Like nobody would do that. John, I wouldn't text you if I ate the last piece of cake in my house. Would anybody know? Why would a guy who was clearly trying to get away with this text anybody in detail? I did this at this moment, and then I did this, and this is why I did it. And they were.
Who announced his death, by the way?
What's that?
Netanyahu announced his death before he was actually pronounced dead by the hospital.
I thought Trump announced his death.
No. Netanyahu allegedly 7 minutes before he was dead, before he got shot.
Man, this is.
And so, I found it. That was the part that I found totally weird. It was why wasn't it a hospital that did it, or
It was Netanyahu. Netanyahu was the first public figure.
Yeah, anybody.
I was still praying for Charlie, along with millions of people still praying for Charlie, because we had been told that he was
when you saw the video, though, it was
you knew he was gone.
I don't know how.
Oh yeah. With right away. When I saw that close-up video, I'm like, he's not surviving
done.
that. Yeah.
But see, that's
just
never killed anything new right away. That was, I mean,
it was done.
I thought it was AI.
It was
I thought it was.
okay. So for those of you who are paying attention,
it was
so violent.
It was. It not only was it so violent though. It was. We're so used to seeing how real like the movies and stuff are that, you know, when you kill a deer, when you shoot an animal, you know, hunters will celebrate when they get a good kill. I mean, you're happy that the deer didn't suffer, or whatever animal it is, you know, and you got a great kill, a great shot, great whatever. Everything about that, you know, and I mean this in a scientific way, that like it was too perfect. And it was hard for me to believe, like Whitty said, like it just seemed very AI. And I'm like, that can't be real. It can't be. And then I started thinking about like what the video games look like in a lot of these video games. Like sometimes I see like videos online and it's like motorcycles crashing and it looks so real. And I really thought it was like that. And then when I find out about the way the wound was, it's like, wait a minute, hang on. That almost looks like just like a puncture, like a
like a balloon that just got punctured.
Yeah, everybody who's ever shot a 30-06 as a young man wanted to shoot a tree to see what it was like. And I can tell you, I know what a 30-06 does to a tree. Like
cuts it down.
10-inch tree. It's pretty wild. I mean, it's not that. It isn't that. And there's some gun guys who'll say, "Oh no," but I know a lot of gun people, and I don't know I've yet to meet a single gun buddy of mine who said, "Oh yeah, that's what it should look like when someone gets hit in the neck with a 30-06." I don't know anyone who agrees that that's what it looked like.
Yeah. Well, so, and you know, again,
law enforcement, and when he talked about the close-up video, and he thought it was he said it does, like blood doesn't do that. And I was like, okay.
Well, it did look like it did that.
I feel like there's a lot of
for those.
Yeah.
So Jennifer Byard says, you know, this is her, you know, and I want to bring people in the chat on this. I wonder if Robinson's on the spectrum, doing anything for friendship, not knowing social norms in his messaging. And I think, you know, maybe you could say that is, you know, this could be a product of video games, you know, and I know that
they got to sue Tylenol, John. They got to sue Tylenol.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, you know, I remember, I think it wasn't it.
I was waiting for Lucy to be on top of that.
I mean, I can give you the whole sequelae of what happens when the poison goes into the baby's arm, and then they develop encephalitis, and they start to do the criolencephalique, which is
they've been talking about that for years.
My son had that. My son had,
and because the baby is crying and they have a fever, then they give the Tylenol, which depletes the glutathione, and I think the enzyme is like
for the pregnant.
490.
I'm sorry, Lucy. I meant for the pregnant mom.
Oh, well, you know, Tylenol, paracetamol, acetaminophen, those are all the names for it, has had a long history of causing birth defects. And the reason that they recommend the acetaminophen over ibuprofen is because ibuprofen is well known for, depending upon the stage of development, it blocks the arms from continuing to grow. You get foreshortened limbs because the ibuprofen stops the blood vessels from growing. And then, for example, the baby's arm doesn't grow all the way out. And so they'll stop at the elbow. So, you know, pregnant women shouldn't be doing anything, obviously. They shouldn't even eat tuna because of the mercury. But I want everybody to listen to this.
Doesn't sound fun.
The revelation of the method. I want you all to go look at the revelation of the method. And I also want you to think about disclosure, because in the Luciferian religion, if they tell you what you are going to do, or what, you know, if they tell you what they are doing, if they reveal the method of what they are doing, and then you do it voluntarily, then the karma does not ascribe to them. It ascribes to you because you volunteered for your own demise. So when we are told, for example, during COVID, nobody was forced to take the vaccine. Remember, we're being gaslit now by saying nobody was forced, but yet there were clearly people who felt the pressure of it.
They were shamed, not forced, but shamed into it.
Nobody even on like that whole thing. Like nobody was.
And so they can literally say, no, they were never forced. They volunteered for it. And so you have to understand
about that on the right, having the government force that upon us having their agencies do that. And that's the same thing as forcing people to fire somebody who works for them or whatever.
Exactly. Our shows were censored for just we just talked about the vaccine. It wasn't even anti. It was just we talked about it, and we got booted off.
And,
the only
and
time
I'd like
we've
to
had
point
any
out
issues
too,
is that.
If you've seen the movie Eyes Wide Shut or you understand other Luciferian rituals, they wear masks.
Whitmer, I'm sure you've seen
we've
that
got
one.
masks.
In the
We've
dark.
got masks. And let me ask you this question. How far away were we supposed to stand from each other? 6 feet. You think that's a coincidence? Why
Here
not
we go.
4.5 or
I'm glad I
5
got
or
the
7?
banner up.
6 feet, front, side, back, that's 666. So, it's just like Jesus said, if you have eyes to hear, you have eyes to see and ears to hear, let him understand the number of the beast because it's the number of the man. And that number is 6
it's a fallen world and Lucifer gets to rule it until Jesus comes back. And honestly, I'm going to end the show with this right here because I think that, this is conspiracy theory. I'm not going to put on the hat. But you remember, Jesus lived to about 31 to 33 years on this earth. And he said there'll be 2 millennial. So if you do the math, now Jesus was actually born, and nobody knows the time. That's why these numbers are sort of skewed. Nobody knows the time or the place, but there's going to be birthing pains. And I definitely think that Charlie Kirk was a messenger that was allowed to be taken by Satan, just like, Satan thought he killed Jesus. And yet Jesus still, he was like, wow, Satan thought he won. But then Jesus came back in 3 days, and now look where he is. So it's 2 millennial. 2 millennials are going to be 2033-ish, somewhere there, except Jesus was basically born in 4 BC, I think. I think if there's some sketchy numbers there. So take off 4 from these. So that's 2029-ish. So I'm just going to say the end is near. The end is near, and maybe we'll do a show on Revelations, and you can figure out that. One of the things that I was reading Revelations, and the sting of the scorpion is one of the signs. And I would say our guns and the sting of that bullet is that scorpion, and those scorpions are stinging our bullets, are the bullets that are stinging us, because we have school shootings. We have a lot of people. We had 19 shootings in Indianapolis this weekend. The scorpions are stinging. So anyway, hey, Jay, thanks for being on. Whitty, thanks for coming on. You've been a very well-behaved little kid.
I was cute and sweet little guy tonight.
Yeah, you are. You're not. You may even not be the most.
I don't know why anybody would ever get mad at you.
I love my amazing smile.
Yeah, that's it. So hey, thanks everybody for coming on. And I even got the right exit on here. I think maybe I don't know.
What's wrong? Is it?
With special no, I didn't. So I'm sorry, Jay. I made a special one with you on it, and I forgot to upload it. So we'll just have the regular one. So you're gonna
no conspiracy theories tonight.
Well, we just did a whole conspiracy theory. Well, hold on.
We were talking pretty freely about said conspiracies.
Well, I got the.
I think it's all true, though.
Yeah, that's conspiracy facts.
Would anybody here be shocked to learn that? If you learned, I'm not saying this is what happened, but would anybody here be shocked to learn that Mossad was behind this and that Trump knew all about it, and this was all part of a big, plan to make sure that BlackRock gets their minerals in Ukraine and the whole shebang? Would anybody be shocked by that? I wouldn't be shocked by that at all.
Well, I
clearly acting on behalf of somebody else.
I think there's so many different ways out there. If you think about it, Charlie Kirk was undoing what some people were trying to do to our education system, since they told me that blue-green algae was this origin of all the species, or I could be anything I wanted, or everyone gets a trophy. I can't be a ballerina. I wanted to be a ballerina.
Dude, everybody still gets trophies.
You'd be such a pretty ballerina.
Oh, I would. I'm that slender, and I got never mind. It's all good. So anyway, that's it. Thanks, Jay, for coming on, fill in the last minute. Whitty, you're a nut. Thanks for coming on. Lucy, we appreciate you. And Brad, I'm glad Whitty was here to be able to make fun of you, and he did a great job. And thanks for doing the talking points. It helps the show. So with that being said, I'm going to this exit plan. Actually, I could have talked more, and I could have uploaded the other thing. So hold on. You guys keep talking for a second, and I'll try to upload the right ending, because I worked so hard on it.
Most grateful for? I'm most grateful for Cash Patel. finding Charlie's killer in a record-setting 33 hours.
He got it. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Wow, 33.
That's
huh?
how.
Kind of
That's how you
weird,
know.
huh?
That's how you know it's a psyop. And what
We
was
should
up
get him a pipe.
with the funeral not being in red, white, and blue? Why do we have red and black? I mean, that looks. I mean, if you didn't know that it was a Charlie Kirk memorial, you would have thought that the stage was set up for Anton LaVey.
I just
Air Force Two. Why was Air Force Two even in play on this?
Well, Trump went on Air Force One, right?
You got to get him one of those hats, Lucy.
Yeah,
No, it was
we got
a pipe.
inspectors.
JD Vance.
Yeah.
I read JD Vance actually skipped he was supposed to go to New York City to go to the 9/11 memorial, and instead he flew to Utah to meet.
Well, honestly, I think they were. Honestly, I think they were more friends than anything. So, I really think that I'm going to give him a pass on
you
that.
in Valhalla, like the Hindu guy is
So
telling
cringe.
the Christian guy, "I'm going to meet you," and But it's funny because there are people that are like way more conspiracy theorists than I and don't look for the evidence that I look for. Here I am like pumping myself up with pride, but I do try and research as much as possible. But there are people that believe that Charlie is not dead at all. They believe that there's a trap door in the stage and that there was a hologram. So these are all the conspiracy, that there was a hologram machine that was actually set up.
Or they had like a plaster on his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that there was some sort of
Didn't some guy get all the SD cards out of their cameras?
Yes, the SD cards were removed. That we know that for a fact. Candace Owens confirmed that he had worn body armor at previous engagements. He was not wearing body armor that time. And I mean, there's just all kinds of little unsettling clues. But I try to stick with what can we see, what can we prove, what is in line with the normal course of physics, for example. And I think it's pretty clear that that the guy in tan, who, and I have no proof of this, people have just put up memes and pictures, but they said that this person had previously worked as security detail for Israeli figures. It was also said, don't know if it's true, I haven't seen a contract, but it was also said that the security company that Charlie has hired or had hired and was at that event was actually owned by Jocko Willink. So let's just get all the theories out there. Who knows?
I did take the banner down, so make sure you make it right.
What would have happened if he would have missed? What would have happened if the guy had missed? I mean, that's a pretty trick shot.
Well, it's like the same thing with Trump being shot. I don't understand how these guys get up on these roofs. And now this one was 200 yards away, but the guy that shot Trump, he was not that far away. I mean, or was he?
That was a whole inside job. That one was for sure.
You think he was shot?
Another episode on that, like on the second anniversary. Like, come on.
I tell you what, I'm not so sure Trump was shot.
I'm not sure.
A lot of grief from people. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure he was shot.
He wasn't shot. It was like a glaze from the Sonic, wasn't it?
Well, the thing is,
I'm not
it's
so
like
sure.
it's sure.
I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just saying I don't believe 100% in my heart that he was shot.
No, if anything, it might have been
a graze, so he wasn't really shot.
Has anybody forgotten that there is this really cool website called imdb.com, and if you go look up Trump, it says that he's an actor.
Yeah, but he was also in the Apprentice.
Yeah, and Reagan was an actor too, and he got
part
shot.
of the 3 parts of the Master Masons. It's Apprentice.
Well, Jay, would you tell us?
No, he's not allowed to.
All right, you guys, this rabbit hole is officially closed. I've uploaded the proper thing. I'm going to get us out of here. We had a very good show about Charlie Kirk, and then it ends up in mystery. Mystery is what it ended up in. So, well, there'll be more to come. So, stay tuned. Next week, I'm working on getting somebody. Hey, Steven, do you know the guy that does the shop?
I know who you're going to say.
The shop?
What?
The guy that does the shop?
Oh, no, I can ask him, though.
No, I mean, he's actually coming on. He just doesn't want to come on with his face. He wants to stay low key.
Sense.
But he's up there giving this Matt Gentry guy. Matt Gentry guy, I think he's shilling for somebody to find the video too. So I don't know who this Matt Gentry guy is, but he's on my radar.
The mayor of Lebanon.
Oh,
or Lebanon, however you want to pronounce it.
Lebanon. Yeah, that's a lot of.
Don't they
that's
have
the
a
Middle
data
East.
center up there?
Lebanon.
Yeah,
Taking all
there's
their
all
water?
They
sorts
have
of
Leap over there.
That was my rival town growing up, Lebanon.
Lebanon,
Frankfurt.
the
Used to
Frankfurter.
Ah,
in
Frankfurt.
Lebanon.
Yep, I've been
Yep,
there.
so I rode through there a couple weeks ago, a couple Saturdays ago. It was awesome.
Are they
All right.
still? Are they still doing like people jumping out of airplanes in Frankfurt?
I think they do. We used to go to Lebanon and steal their dope.
Good for
For the
you.
Masons.
Just telling the truth.
Is the statute of limitations out on that? I hope so.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Hey, kids, thanks for watching tonight. Everybody, hope you enjoyed it. We'll have another fine guest next week. And come back and watch us. Whitty Reviews at 8. Mouthwash at 9. Let's go.